You spend hours helping that friend who's always in crisis, yet somehow they never seem to improve. They take your advice, your time, your energy, but nothing changes. Have you ever wondered if you're actually enabling them? Stoic philosophy has a confronting answer. There are 8 types of people you should never help, not because you're cold-hearted, but because your assistance actively harms both of you. In today's video, I'll reveal who these energy vampires are and why even Marcus Aurelius would tell you to walk away. Have you ever poured your heart, time, and energy into helping someone only to walk away feeling completely drained? That sinking feeling isn't just fatigue. It's your intuition warning you about what the ancient Stoics recognized centuries ago. They understood that certain relationships don't just temporarily deplete us, they systematically extract our energy without any positive return. What makes these interactions particularly insidious is how they masquerade as opportunities to demonstrate virtue. You think you're being kind, supportive, or helpful, but in reality, you've fallen into a trap that prevents true virtue from taking root, either in you or the person you're attempting to help. Let me introduce you to the 4 most common energy vampires the Stoics warned against. First, there's the ungrateful individual, that colleague who consistently seeks your assistance but never acknowledges your efforts. They treat your help not as a gift, but as an entitlement. Each time you extend yourself, the goalposts mysteriously shift. Yesterday's huge favor becomes today's minimum expectation. As one Stoic analogy puts it, helping the ungrateful is like pouring water into a broken vase. No matter how much you fill it, it will never hold. The relationship becomes increasingly one-sided, leaving you feeling used rather than appreciated. Then there's the chronically lazy person, perhaps a friend, perpetually complaining about their circumstances while rejecting every practical solution. You've suggested job opportunities, skill development resources, or networking connections, yet they remain firmly planted in complaint mode without taking a single step forward. These individuals have grown used to avoiding responsibility and expecting others to rescue them from their problems. Each time you step in, you're not just helping them, you're reinforcing their passivity, creating a one-way energy transfer that produces zero lasting change. The irresponsible person represents a third category, someone who refuses to face the natural consequences of their actions. By constantly intervening, you short-circuit the feedback mechanisms that would otherwise drive growth. Consider those who repeatedly break laws but escape consequences through connections or privilege. Society ultimately bears the cost of this moral vacuum. When you help someone evade responsibility, you're not offering genuine assistance. You're removing the very incentive they need to mature and develop resilience. Perhaps most dangerous is the manipulator, the person who strategically exploits your desire to help by using emotional leverage to control your decisions. A prime example is Britney Spears' situation under her father's conservatorship. For over a decade, he controlled her finances, personal life, and career, causing significant psychological harm while claiming to help her. The question arises, was it right to support her father, the manipulator? From a Stoic perspective, doing so only strengthens the manipulator's position while diminishing the victim's autonomy. What these 4 relationship types create is what modern psychologists call a help-rejection spiral, a perverse dynamic where additional assistance actually reinforces the very behaviors you're trying to change. The more you help, the more dependent they become, and the less likely they are to address their underlying issues. Your well-intentioned efforts become counterproductive, sustaining problems rather than solving them. This creates a fundamental paradox. Effective help should eventually make itself unnecessary. But with these individuals, your assistance becomes increasingly essential while producing diminishing returns. The pattern is unmistakable. Your energy depletes while the problems remain stubbornly intact or worsen. The Stoic solution isn't a wholesale rejection of helping others. Rather, it's practicing what I call strategic compassion, the wisdom to discern when your assistance creates genuine value versus when it enables dysfunction. This means recognizing the difference between supporting someone through a temporary challenge and propping up chronic, self-defeating behaviors. Enabling behavior despite good intentions ultimately harms both parties. When you repeatedly cover for someone's irresponsibility or make excuses for their poor choices, you're removing the natural consequences that would otherwise prompt growth. You're not helping them develop. You're helping them remain exactly as they are. The boundary between helping and harming is thinner than you might realize. When faced with chronic critics, narcissists, opportunists, and the envious, your well-intentioned support creates a paradoxical effect. The more generously you give, the more damage you ultimately cause to everyone involved. But this isn't just theory, it's the practical wisdom the Stoics recognized centuries ago when they identified these relationships as fundamentally different from other forms of assistance. You might be thinking, isn't it virtuous to help others regardless of outcome? This common misconception directly contradicts the Stoic understanding of virtue. True virtue isn't measured by how much you give, but by whether your actions create genuine value in the world. The Stoics weren't interested in the appearance of compassion, they were focused on its effects. When your help actively makes situations worse, continuing to provide it isn't virtuous, it's irrational. Consider the chronic critic. Unlike someone who offers constructive feedback to help you improve, this person transforms every bit of assistance into a source of negativity. You solve one problem, they immediately find fault with your solution. You offer multiple options, they reject each one without proposing alternatives. They're masters at identifying what's wrong while avoiding any responsibility for making things right. This creates an impossible situation where your increasing efforts only generate more criticism, leaving both of you frustrated and depleted. Narcissists represent another relationship type where help inevitably backfires. Their fundamental inability to acknowledge personal flaws makes genuine improvement impossible, regardless of your investment. When you point out an issue that needs addressing, they either deny its existence or blame external factors. Your assistance becomes wasted energy directed at someone who cannot recognize the very problems you're trying to help them solve. There's no solution to offer someone who refuses to admit there's a problem in the first place. Perhaps most insidious are the opportunists. These individuals extract value from your assistance without reciprocity, using your resources purely for personal advancement. In professional settings, they may shirk responsibilities while positioning themselves to claim credit when projects succeed. The relationship operates as a one-way transaction, your time and energy flowing outward with nothing returning. Strategic compassion recognizes this imbalance and refuses to fuel it further. The envious experience your help not as a gift, but as a painful reminder of their perceived inadequacies. Each time you extend support, you unintentionally highlight the gaps they feel between themselves and others. This creates a counterintuitive response where your increasing generosity produces escalating resentment. Envy destroys their inner peace and blinds them to their own value, making your assistance not just ineffective but actively harmful to their psychological well-being. Marcus Aurelius captured this wisdom perfectly when he wrote, "The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are." This isn't philosophical abstraction, it's practical guidance for maintaining both your effectiveness and your sanity. Looking at relationships objectively allows you to recognize when your compassion has transformed from medicine into poison. Practicing strategic compassion requires 3 essential elements. First, you must set clear boundaries with those who consistently misuse your help. Second, you need to redirect your limited energy toward relationships where positive change is possible. Finally, you must understand that sometimes walking away represents the most virtuous choice available, not just for yourself, but for the other person as well. This approach isn't about abandoning people who struggle. It's about recognizing when your presence in someone's life enables destructive patterns rather than facilitating growth. True compassion sometimes demands creating a vacuum, a space where the natural consequences of behavior can finally teach lessons that your help has been preventing them from learning. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes rational action based on objective assessment. When your assistance is being transformed into a weapon, whether against you through criticism, against the recipient through enabling, or against society through opportunism. The rational response is to stop providing it. This isn't selfishness, it's wisdom that preserves your resources for situations where they can create genuine value. Let me ask you a powerful question. When was the last time your help actually transformed someone rather than just sustained them? The research is clear: setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's essential for psychological well-being. Those who maintain clear boundaries experience significantly reduced stress and anxiety while enjoying higher self-esteem. Consider Sarah's case. By stopping financial support to her chronically irresponsible sibling, she created the space for genuine transformation. Initially painful, this boundary ultimately led her sibling to find stability independently. The essence of Stoic wisdom isn't boundless giving, it's discernment. Ask yourself, is my help creating growth or maintaining dysfunction? Your answer determines whether you're practicing true virtue or merely depleting yourself.